Okay guys, so we're going to start out with a screenshot sent by Vet Pat here, Barter, and a game of Brave Queens. So this game you can see majority of the map is all red, or Jin. So I was afraid of Barter's battleships because he had 4 giant battleships, but 2 of them went somewhere else because all 4 were seemed to be honing in on my territory down there in the south. So that would have definitely taken any city that Barter would have went after. He would have taken it with 4 giant battleships. I'm not sure why he turned around. Looks like he retreated his battleships even more. I don't know. Was he trying to go over that northern city or go after that northern city? So since he retreated from my southern city down there, that's my only city he's got a port right now. I'm going to start producing my own battleships. So before that, he had pretty much dominance of the water, of the ocean, but you're going to see he's going to lose that. So Ellie's a bot, and he's not a friend bot. Here's some more of Barter's territory. Yes, so he moved all of his battleships. They were in the south, now they went to the north. So, so now they're back on me again. So I was wondering why they left me alone down the south, but then they went up north. It looked like they're headed to Luxador's territory, but now they've changed course again. So yeah, I don't know, maybe he saw those catapults. That could have been it, but I mean, now I'm just going to move these catapults up. Since he's attacking my northern village, I'm just going to move him up north. And I swear, the playback on this thing, I don't recommend VLC player to anyone. So yeah, I've always had the lead. Now I'm able to maintain it. Not really any risks out there. Now he's retreated again. So he's down 1 giant. So just some advice to Barter here. I mean, once your opponent sees you with battleships, they're going to go defenders like I did. It takes 2 battleships to kill a defender, and then your third, it doesn't have to be a battleship, your third vessel can enter the village. Hopefully it's I don't know, a giant. Oh, well, actually, even better be a defender. And it all depends on if you think they can pop your giant out of their village. If they can pop your unit out of the village, might as well put a defender in there. Keep your giant battleship in the ocean. They're extremely powerful that way. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to call this game pretty much won. So yes, no more videos of Brave Queens unless something changes and somebody else does actually win that game. But now we'll transition over here to Hills and Tails. This game, still pretty much anyone's game. I don't have the map control you saw in Brave Queens where I was Jin. I obviously don't have the majority of the map. I do have a big chunk though. Got a good spawn. You're going to see, I do know Glauk's going to come down later, who's Zabasi. He's gonna sneak a knight in there, and you can look out for knights if you watch the score. You see, I keep bringing the score up and recording it because the intent is I go back there and check the score on the next turn and see how much the score has changed. Because I mean, if you're gonna go knights, you're gonna get what, free spirit, and you're gonna get chivalry, and that's a jump of 500 points in your score, which is quite a bit. So if you've seen opponents score jump by like 508 points, well, he bought the tech he needed and one knight. So I don't know. Some people do well with score counting. I mean, I've got too many games going. I don't know. What do they write it down on a notepad or something? I don't. I've got too many games going. I'm not gonna. At this point, I'm not gonna keep track of the. Although I do keep track, I video it, but I'm not gonna go back and check the previous score. But yeah, other than knights, I don't really know what else why you would want to count score. Um, well, if you see the edge of the territory, and let's say it's barter, and just for an example, I'm Hoodrick. I see barter's territory. I haven't met him yet. His score jumps by 200 points. I could assume he just bought forestry. So maybe I would not step into his territory and try to meet him until I see his score jump. So yeah. So I mean, there's other reasons, but I'm just not into it yet. I know some players are avid score counters. So more power to them. I mean, if you're a score counter, let me know how you do it. If there's an easy way to keep track. If you say you've got a notepad though, when like a paper notebook you write in, I mean, I'm not going to do that. I have seen other players post Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets where they would keep track of the turns inside of games. So that might be where they're keeping track of score. I didn't pay too much attention. It seemed, I mean, I can see how it was a good idea, but I don't know. When my games slow down, when I have less of them, I might start doing that. So I am trying to kind of lower the amount of games I'm currently in. At one point, I was in 50 games. That was just insane. Now I think I'm under 40. I'm trying to whittle that down even more. One problem is I keep getting invites, and usually, unless it's a 1v1, I don't reject invites. Well, okay, if it's a multiplayer, I mean a team game, then I won't. I generally don't reject the invites. And I don't know why I get invited to team games because I'm not a very good team player. My score on the team server, my ELO score on team server pretty much reflects that. So I'm just a jerk who's out for himself. So I got the most useless thing in that ruin down there. I already have plenty of giants. So here we see Luxador. He doesn't have much. So I am first as far as score goes. So I mean, I don't have the majority of the map, but I've got the biggest chunk compared to everybody else. And I think very soon here is where you're going to see that knight fly in out of nowhere and take. I think he's going to successfully take my northernmost village there. If you look at my villages down south, I mean they're stacked. Those are some awesome villages. So if he takes my northern village, I mean I really don't worry about it too much. He can have that junk. Well, why'd I have to go and upgrade it? Okay. Now I don't want to lose it as much. Now I care a little bit more. Yep, here's his knight. Comes in out of the clouds. And what do? I think all I do is, I think I just cut the tree up there. Yeah, so Ellie Ryan definitely ahead of Luxador. Luxador is a bot. Okay. So I don't want Ellie Ryan to get this village. So I will take it. And I know he's going to kill my giant, but I still successfully take that village before he does. So yeah, Kiku's a bot, and he's just leaving me alone right now. But the halo disappears from above. There I go. I chopped that tree. That's all I got out of that village. Would have liked to have destroyed that monument as well, because I don't really want that village back. But yeah, Kiku bot's halo disappears. I don't know if it's this turn. No, it's going to be in the next couple turns. The halo disappears, and he starts hitting me. So don't trust a bot. So I mean, even though he had a halo, see there it is. Halo disappeared. He has not hit me yet. But that's kind of an indication that he's on the edge. He's questioning our friendship. So here I move into his territory a bit. I'm not going to attack him yet until he attacks me, because I got too many wars going on elsewhere. I don't want to be stretched too thin. So yeah, I unsuccessfully try to kill his dragon. I did know I would not be successful in killing the dragon, but at least if I get it down to a low enough health, he'll retreat it. So next we have River and Dawn. This game is going horribly. So yeah, I've already fallen from first to second. Pretty sure at this stage, or very soon, I think when I start picking off this giant, Hoodrick resigns, becomes Hoodrick bot. But yeah, I'm holding my own at this point. It's not really too much to show you here. We're going to speed this up. But this game turns south in the worst way here. Yeah, my only saving grace right now is the landscape, the natural landscape. Well, it hasn't started yet, but Barter starts amassing riders. And if you see that row of trees and a mountain there, I mean, that's my own natural protection. So the trees are only protection if your opponent cannot build a road across them. So mountains remain your protection no matter what. But so those trees are not in my territory. They are fair game for Barter to build a road across, and then he can get his knights into my territory easily. Or in the future, well, I meant to say riders, and then in the future he can get a knight in there. So yeah, right now I'm switching from offense to defense. I'm being attacked from Barter and Hoodrick, and Lux was shooting me. He did have a unit in my village there on my eastern coast. So all I can do really is play defense at this point, which really tells you your game is going south, and it's pretty much useless to try to even resist. So Luxador's still expanding. I bet Barter's pretty much stuck where he's at. I think Luxador is giving him hell right now. So yeah, 2 giants up there trying to take that village. I do believe he eventually gets it. I mean, probably this turn. I was killing his, his riders and his warriors he put in there, but giants, I don't. If I didn't have to take all my archers down south to deal with Hoodrick, I could probably kill those giants up north. But my units are too dispersed, too spread out. There we go. I got my border growth. So I definitely wanted that border growth to claim that row of trees. Because like I was saying earlier about the roads, Barter can no longer make roads through those trees now that I've claimed them. So I have a defensive barrier. It's got 1 hole in it. So here's Luxador's screenshot. That was from Ian, I believe. But yeah, now it's time to start really digging in. I mean, archers can only take you so far, because when you move an archer up, an archer cannot shoot across, or it can shoot across a defensive barrier like that row of trees in a mountain, but it has to move up to the edge of the barrier. And as soon as it moves up to the edge of the barrier to shoot across it, now his riders or his warriors can enter that barrier and strike the archer at the same time. Whereas if you have catapults, they have a range of 1 more tile, so they can shoot across the barrier or into the barrier without being struck the next turn. So we're going to mass produce some catapults. I only have 1 so far, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. But like I said, I have 1 hole in my barrier. It's on the edge. And I'll actually I'll point it out real quick. Oh, let's delete that. So this here is my hole in my barrier. I need to plant a tree there. So that's cool. I'm being attacked by giants, but it's no big deal. I've got spam loads of archers here. And this does start getting really complicated with this attack from Barter. That draw on tool I used to just show you that gap in my barrier, I'm going to have to use it in the game itself later. And you'll see that. I took video of that. So that tool is very useful to have, just to make sure you map out your moves ahead of time, to make sure you don't run out of units. Because if you just open the game and you just start moving units, at the end of your turn you might find out that there's another opposing unit you should have killed, but well, you ran out of units to move around. And the draw on tool will just help you map that out ahead of time. I've seen other players use it for naval battles if they get really intense. So here we are. He puts Luxeter puts a defender in my village. That's like, aside from a giant, that's the worst thing you could put in there. So yeah, there we go. So it's getting intense. So here you see I've mapped out how I can kill. I don't know if you can follow these lines, but I can just because I drew them, of course. But I'm going to kill those 2 units of Lux that are closest to me, and I'm going to kill all of Barter's units that are within 1 tile of my barrier. So yeah, I mean, I draw it out, I make it disappear because you can't move while the drawing tool is actually up. I wish you could. That would be cool. So just because I forget, I start drawing it out, I'll forget what comes next. I'll just keep bringing it back up. So I use every single one of my units. They all turn gray by the end of this turn because I'm out. The only one I haven't used is that catapult. But you see, I moved it up in the end, so I did move it. But yeah, I mean, for sticky situations, I recommend you get that tool. It's just called Draw On, I believe. So this turn, not as bad. So I get a little bit of breathing room this turn, which is good. That means I can spam some more catapults. So I'm trying to build an impenetrable defense here. But I've still got that hole up where I pointed out before, to the northeast of those 2 mountains beside each other. That hole is still there.